Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And today, I just wanted to talk about the sports that I'm doing at school, for the fall season and what I'm going to do in the future, and all that cool stuff. So, I'm going to talk about cross country. I'm going to talk about weight training class and all that stuff. So, let's get into it. So first things first, I guess we could talk about weight training because this is kind of quickest subject. So I've been trying to do, we've been doing different stuff in that class. Well, first we started with machine work, so machine bench, we did leg press, lat pull down, all that stuff. And then we moved on to dumbbells after that. And then now we just started working with barbells. So my machine bench max was around 100, 110 at the beginning of the school year. My leg press max was about, and these are 2 rep maxes, was 230. That kind of increased that over time. And then my squat max is 195. And then my bench max, we're probably gonna retest the Smith machine / barbell bench maxes, but that's around 125 or 135. But we're gonna retest the bench and the squat maxes, so those aren't actually my true maxes. Once I know my true maxes, I will let you guys know in another one of those videos when I make another one of the sports videos. Anyway, that's pretty much all for weightlifting. I've been working on techniques and working on different styles of working out and all that stuff. And I'll, talk about that, more in another video. Alright, so anyway, let's get to cross country and how that went. So, yeah, let's talk about it. So, cross country. So, this year, I'm just going to say it, it wasn't the best season. Well, in general, it was a really good season for me, but not a good season in general, because we did not have any away meets this year besides districts. Districts was the only away meet that we had. But, that's about it. So when it comes to the meets that we had one where, this was the first one at FSDB, where I got a 34:17, that was my time. Oh yeah, so the reason that we didn't have any away meets was because of, we had a lot of weather stuff happening. We had those 2 storms that happened, and those were during days that we were supposed to have away meets, and, they got all canceled because of that. So that's why we didn't. And then kind of the reason, we were supposed to have 2 other away meets that we hosted as well. But one of them was supposed to be on a bridge, and one of them was supposed to be on a beach. But there was a team, and they kind of fucked up. It was kind of submitted wrong when they first decided they wanted to host it, and that particular team, they kind of fucked up. So no away meets that we were gonna host either. So that sucked. But anyway, on that meet, I got a 34:17, plus it was just hot. The grass on our course that day was long, because we have a part of our route that we run through about, I don't even know, almost a quarter mile of grass. And, it's the last part of our route, and, it was tough. But after that, we had another meet, and then that was when I just started getting PRs. So at that meet, I got a 31-31. And that day it wasn't as hot, so I was like, I can stand this. Grass they trimmed it up. But, the road parts were still fun. So, yeah. So, yeah, that was the PR I got from that. Now, it's the bird meet. Oh, yeah. And that meet, they made up for 2 meets because that was the first storm that we had. That we were all off for. And then, so at that meet, they made up the 2 meets, and then we were off for that storm. And then we were supposed to have, 2 other away meets, but, those didn't happen because of the storm. So, next was our, it was our Halloween theme meet. And this meet was fun because they had Halloween themed music going all throughout the course, all throughout the campus. There was a lot of school support. So, and I got a 31-31. I was like, all right, if I can keep this up, because I just practice, I was just like, all right, if I can keep this up, my goal is to get under 30 minutes at this meet. So what happened is, I ran it as hard as I could, and there were people that I was beating because, some of them were dressed up in, Halloween costumes, so they couldn't run as fast, because, they had a, costume contest after the meet, and, so there was some runners that decided they wanted to dress up in costumes, so, but I didn't want to, because I was like, I just want to run, I want to get this time. So yeah, I was aiming for under 30 minutes, so I ran it, and I, for this year, it wasn't really like last year. I had the same guide for all the meets, so that was pretty fun. We got used to each other's running style. So I ran it, but dude, I missed it by 4 seconds. 30:04. I literally missed the under 30 minutes by 5 seconds. But I was like, all right, well, we got districts coming up. I'm going to practice hard for districts. That was the next week. And I'm like, all right, well, that Wednesday is districts. And yeah, so last Wednesday was districts. And dude, I told you, when I tell you I pushed it. I was like, I'm at districts. I don't care. You got to pass as many people as you can. And I got a 28:09. 2 minutes shaved off of that time. And that was more cross-country style than our course is. Because that course, so the 2 days before districts on that Monday, we actually went to go practice on the course because we wanted to, we wanted to see how it was and all. So we just, so we went and practiced on it. And then that Wednesday we had the actual meet. And yes, there were kind of some bad and challenging parts of the course, but it wasn't like that course that I told you about last year where it was like, oh, well, no one could, it was challenging for everything. Well, yes, it was challenging. There were some parts that I didn't like, but overall, in general, I thought the course was actually really fun to run, and it was 2 loops like our course. Each loop was 1.5 miles, and yeah, so that was fun. Oh, I forgot to mention during the Halloween meet, we started kind of in the middle of our course. We started at another part of our course, and finished at that part instead of starting and finishing where we normally start, which was actually kind of fun, because what happened is that quarter mile where you got grass, there is not, you do that part like in the middle of the loop, and you don't have to worry about it at the end of the loop, and that just made it more fun. And that's one thing about how I got that time is, yeah, that helped. But anyway, districts. And yeah, so the thing was with districts is our girls, we had 5 girls, but one of them decided not to show up. So it ruined all the team scoring, so you can't score if you don't have 5 girls. And we could have made it to regionals, or at least the girls could have made it to regionals. Because the way that it worked is the top 8 teams get to go to regionals. And then the 4 top individual athletes that are not on those 8 teams get to go to regionals. The top 4. So it could have worked, at least with our girls. But we had one person that didn't show up. And now they can't do any other sports for this year. Because the rule is at our school, if you quit a sport, you can't go and do another sport. You have to finish that sport, the first sport that you were doing before you want to do another. You can't just quit the sport in the middle of that. So, yeah, we would have had a chance, but they decided to mess up and not show up. Us guys, on the other hand, we definitely didn't have a chance because we were literally in last. We were like, they did like the top, I think they announced the top 11. Because there was like 8, well, there was supposed to be 21 teams, but 18 teams didn't show up. Or, 3 teams didn't show up, so there was 18 teams. But I think they announced the top 11, and we were the last ones that they announced. So, no, actually, it just could have been just because some of the teams didn't have runners. That's why they didn't get announced. That's why, probably. But, yeah, we were literally in last. But you gotta remember, at districts, there are kids that are fast. Well, the fastest kid this year at districts was nothing compared, though, to the fastest kid last year. I think the fastest kid this year got like a 17:30 for the 5K, but the fastest kid last year was like almost under 15 minutes. So, but at our home meets, the fastest time is usually around like 20-ish something. So you got to remember that too. Because the team at our home meet, they're girls. The girls that would always win at our home meets, they were always pretty fast. But yeah, for districts is kind of a different thing. So, yeah, none of us this year, individually or even on our team, are not going to regionals. Even our fastest runners. So, yeah, that just shows us more that if we want some people, at least our fastest runners, to like go to regionals, then we need to keep practicing and practicing, because I only know one kid off our team, and this was back before I decided to join the team, but I know there was one dude that went to regionals, but that's it. Only person I know it from our school. Yeah, so that's cross country. So next, let's talk about wrestling and track. So, wrestling, I decided I'm not doing wrestling this year. I don't want to do it. Here's the reason. First, it's more sitting around than you actually do wrestle, like not at practice, because practices are always fun. But at the actual wrestling matches, more sitting around than you actually wrestle, and then, you know, there's also another reason that I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail in this video, but all I'll say is we had a good assistant coach. And the assistant coach was really good at teaching us. While the head coach would, the assistant coach, the assistant coach would teach us blind kids, while the head coach would normally focus on, us deaf kids more. Or they would focus on the deaf kids more. So, but now that assistant coach is not there, and there is a deaf assistant coach. And I don't really know how much support that all the blind students are going to get having a deaf assistant coach. Yes, they have an interpreter there, but it does interpret sign language, but I don't know. I still don't know how much support that's actually going to, give people or give, blind kids at least. It'll definitely help the deaf kids. But they're, I don't know how much support it would get the blind kids. And, that's what a lot of these sports are, are blind and deaf sports. And I can go into, I can go into a bunch of detail about, how our athletic department can sometimes fuck up, and, how it's about the deaf culture and all that stuff, but no, I don't need to do that. I'm not trying to ruin the school's image. But all I'm saying, just my opinion for wrestling, I'm not doing wrestling because I don't know how much this deaf assistant coach is going to actually teach me. And then I don't know how much Coach Newman is going to, help more of the blind kids. But I'll have to find out. I have to find out for the blind students that are joining, because you never know. It actually might be the opposite effect. And if that's, if Coach Newman starts helping out the blind kids more, the deaf coach can start helping out more of the deaf kids, it might kind of turn into the opposite effect. And if that's the case, I might consider doing it again next year. But for this year, no, I'm not. I don't want to do that and it not turn out good. So anyway, for the winter, I'm gonna be doing something called Ski Club. Why did I just sound so excited about that? But anyway, Ski Club, it's a really fun thing to do, but basically, what you have to do, it's a lot of work to make it into the top 10. So the way it works is you have points. All the people that are in Ski Club have these points, or they get an amount of points for turning stuff in. And the top 10 people that have the most amount of points get to go on a ski trip in January to Whitefish, Montana. So the way that it works is you have all this paperwork that you have to turn in. You have to turn in recommendation letters for, why you want to go on the ski trip. You have to do an interview. Before, you had to write a paper. I didn't do it beforehand, but this is my first year doing it, so I had to do an interview. I have to write thank you letters to people that are donating to make the ski trip possible. Because it's like a $30,000 trip for 10 kids, but the donors help. But if you do get picked, you still have to make a $150 donation, I believe. So you have to do that, and then you have to do workouts. You have to do a workout a month. So you go with all the other ski club kids, and you have to do certain things for your workout. So you have to run a mile. It just has to be under 15 minutes. You have to do as many push-ups as you can in a minute, as many squats, a wall sit, a high plank, Russian twists, and lateral hops. We did a workout that was Well, the first workout I had to make up because I had an excuse, because the workouts are mandatory, but I had an excuse that I can make that up during a cross-country meet that I had. And that was the meet where I got 31, I think. So I had an excuse to make that up. But the workout for November, I will be attending. And then at the end of the month, they're going to announce the final top 10. When they announced it before, they announced it like on the 18th. It was the middle of October. I wasn't in the top 10, but that's because because you also got to turn in a bunch of extracurriculars. You got to turn in all your extracurriculars. You have an extracurricular form that the sponsor or coach or teacher or whoever person that runs that organization, you have to send this to them, and then they have to fill it out, and then you have to turn it into the ski club managers. And I already turned that in, but when they announced the top 10, I didn't turn that in by that point. The only thing I had was the first workout, the interview, the recommendation letters, and the thank you letters. So, but now I should get more points because I turned those in, and then I just have the second workout to do. So I feel like I will probably actually have a chance. I might have a chance and actually make it to the top 10. And then when they announce that, I'll actually let you guys know in another video. And I'll let you guys know how it all goes. And if that's the case, and if I actually get to go on the ski trip, then I might actually, I was thinking a good idea was, in January, like maybe doing a video kind of every day, like in a blog kind of style, and maybe documenting it on my channel. That might be a fun idea to do, but, we'll just have to see. Well, anyway, that's ski club, so that's, and then track, I'll just talk about that more when that season comes around, because it's still like, I don't even know, like 6 months, probably February or March until that happens. So I'll just talk about that when getting closer to when that actually starts. So, yeah, so that's pretty much the updates of all the sports that I've been doing. And I'll talk about more as more happens, but right now that's, what's happening in my athletic world. So, yeah, so if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.